I wanted to make a quick video looking at Cyberpunk's 2.0 update today, and in particular looking at the Ray Reconstruction. Since I'm kind of a fan of ray tracing, I want to take a look at this. The update is pretty big. They've added a lot of other really good things, but this is something I wanted to check out and see how Ray Reconstruction works, whether there's any flaws and what the improvements are. Just an overall quick look. I didn't spend too much time gathering a lot of footage, but I did capture some different scenes, some really good stuff, and some flaws. Let's take a look. So I'm going to start here with this cop and his mech and check out their reflections on the ground. Right now we just have DLSS quality on with path tracing obviously, and Ray Reconstruction's off. So it's just running off the built-in denoiser in the game. Let's toggle on Ray Reconstruction. And there we go. It definitely looks sharper. It doesn't look crazy better, but it does look noticeably better, I would say. And to compare, just do a side by side, and with Ray Reconstruction on the right, you can tell that it definitely looks cleaner, it definitely looks sharper. It does add more detail. But how does it look in motion? So as soon as we move, we begin to see a bit of smearing and a little bit of ghosting, which isn't uncommon with path tracing because it's so demanding. The denoisers have to work quite a bit hard to sort of reconstruct the image and fill in the blanks. So that leads to when you're sitting still, the reflection looks pretty good, but then as soon as you introduce some motion, things almost look like a bad implementation of FSR or DLSS. So let's toggle on Ray Reconstruction and see how that looks. Wow, it looks so much better. For one, it's a lot more stable than it was before, and it also looks so much sharper. You can actually make out the palm trees on the back now, whereas before they were just like blotches of blur and smudge. So, and you can also see where the reflections sort of divide, where the tiles are on the seams. That looks actually very impressive. Looks very good. This is another example with Ray Reconstruction on top, which definitely makes the reflections look quite a bit better than with it off. It adds quite a bit of detail, making you see things that were noticeable before, whether it be writing or other materials and objects. Another thing I've noticed Ray Reconstruction improve is just regular flicker that you usually get from denoising, or maybe it's just DLSS, but if you look at the seams at the top of the ceiling, you can see that they're flickering. So let's turn on Ray Reconstruction and see how that changes it. If you look at the reflective ceiling now with Ray Reconstruction on, the image is a lot more stable. The reflections are a little bit more stable as well, but all the flickering is pretty much gone. So that's a pretty big improvement. For me, flickering usually stands out quite a bit in images. It makes them look kind of unstable. With Ray Reconstruction on top, you can see the difference between with it off and on, and how much more stable the image is. You can also see around the beveled edges of the letters, the reflections on that are also more stable with Reconstruction on. And even behind the letters, those little windows or squares, there's definitely more detail with Ray Reconstruction enabled. In this scene here, there's actually quite a bit of big differences that Ray Reconstruction helps a lot in actually. So you can see that there's a bit of flicker at the top of the dumpster where the light's shining on the top, you can see it's flickering up and down all along the edge. But you also have some ghosting and flickering on the pipes, the 3 pipes on the right. Ray Reconstruction actually enhances a lot of aspects of this scene, whether it be the flickering, the artifacting on the pipes, or the flickering on the dumpster. Let's turn it on and examine it closely. The flickering on the light reflecting at the top of the dumpster, that's gone. And then the flickering, artifacting, and glitching on the 3 pipes, that's also gone. But there's a few other things that are enhanced with Ray Reconstruction on as well that we'll look at on a side-by-side. So let's do that. Other than just the flicker on the dumpster with Ray Reconstruction on the right, you could also see that even the trash bags are actually enhanced a little bit. And so is the steel panels and the rivets at the top of the dumpster that are also enhanced with Ray Reconstruction on, and some of the shadow underneath it is more defined. It looks better overall, more accurate, more enhanced. You have the 3 pipes that have no more glitching or artifacting, and then you have some of the trash laying around again that has more shadow, more occlusion, and is more detailed. And you also have other things, like if you look at the rear wall all the way in the back that's brightly lit by the sun, you can see that with Ray Reconstruction on, it's a lot more detailed. Looking at that brightly lit wall again, now zoomed in a little on the top with Ray Reconstruction on, we can see the detail that's been lost due to the regular denoiser that is being added with Ray Reconstruction on. Also on top of the 3 pipes, on the masonry work, you can see lost detail that's being properly reconstructed. So that's actually very impressive. Another thing I noticed, I only checked the game for a little bit, but if you look at the building reflection on the water, there is quite a bit of noise in it that when enabling Ray Reconstruction, it tends to go away almost entirely and looks more accurate and quite a bit better. It's not all sunshine and rainbows in the land of Ray Reconstruction machine learning though. There are some issues here that I ran into in the little bit of time that I spent capturing all this footage. So let's take a look and see what happens when we turn on Ray Reconstruction and see what happens to these lights that are moving on the screen, these caution lights. Yeah, there's quite a bit of ghosting and smearing introduced here on pretty much all the signs that are moving. So it looks like the algorithm or whatever, it's confused or not working properly, because there's quite a bit of ghosting on the other signs that are moving as well. So it's not really working properly here. It's a technology preview after all, so there are going to be some issues, and knowing Nvidia and how much they've improved DLSS, I have a feeling this is going to improve, and then I believe they're also looking into adding it to regular ray tracing, which will be huge. So yeah, there's issues here. Here's another example of ghosting I ran into on the top with Ray Reconstruction on. If you look at the palm trees, they leave quite a bit of a trail. And there was also some shadow issue with the tree trunks that Gamers Nexus mentioned. So yeah, there's some things that are going to have to be patched and fixed with this. But as a start, it's quite impressive. Another thing I noticed, which may not be an issue, but it stood out to me. Now if you look at these pylons here, they have some detail in them, some scratches and marks, whatever. There's also some white flicker, which is being added by DLSS, I think. And then turning Ray Reconstruction on, It almost look like they're like almost like clean metal. I think like aluminum. It looks like dark aluminum and like brushed aluminum, I guess. And that flicker is also gone, so that's nice. But the material surface does change just a little bit. Here's another example where the material changes. If you look at the top ceiling, which looks like some sort of a, maybe like some sort of an aluminum or some type of a metal on the roof of the building. This is with Ray Reconstruction off, and we'll turn it on. And a final example of material changing, or the detail changing. This is with Ray Reconstruction off, and turning it on adds more detail to the tiles, almost like they're dirtier or more weathered. So I'm not sure if that's intentional, and it looks good, so I don't know, but that's pretty much it. This is it for this video though. This was just a quick look that I did on the game, and if you like the video, give it a like, and if you have any comments or suggestions for me, leave them in the comment section below. And thank you for watching.